Hi guys, zpolt here, welcome to my lab, and finally we're gonna do the ultimate comparison of DAPs around $100. We have in our list the Xduoo X3, the Hidizs AP80, and also the Shanling M0. Of course, big thanks to TechShop28 for lending me the Xduoo and also the Shanling, and Sean Season for lending me the AP80. So these are the most popular DAPs around $100. Hopefully I can have a bigger list soon. In terms of features, they are really similar. So we're gonna find out who wins for me. We're gonna go through several categories and we're gonna find out the winner for each category. Let's jump right into it. But of course, we review budget-fi to mid-fi audio gear. So if you're into that, consider subscribing. So we're gonna go with the build first. So firstly, these are all well built actually, but you know, to be honest, the best build here is the AP80. I'd like to show you guys how this is built. So actually, it also comes with this really neat thing right here with the Hidizs branding case right here. But look at the build here, guys. This is the best build of the bunch. It has the machined aluminum right here, and you have glass at the front and at the back. You know, it has you know, it's a fingerprint magnet right here, but you know, if you look at the build, this is really well built here. And also you have the bonus of the case right here, so that is really neat. Second one would be the Shanling M0. So this is also well built here. It feels really upscale. It has that glass in front, and you know, the kind of Apple-esque kind of design right here, the iPod-esque kind of design with the crown as well. It doesn't have physical buttons though. You know, with the minimal design, it looks really upscale. It has 3.5mm headphone jack, USB-C as well, and the micro SD here, and not whatsoever. It feels really substantial even if it is small. So this is the next well built here, and the last would be the Xduoo. I wouldn't call the Xduoo a slouch actually. It's also made of CNC aluminum. It feels really substantial, but you know, just the button feel and also the finish right here, it doesn't really feel as good as the Hidizs and Shanling M0. It feels more polished with those two compared to this one. So this one just feels a tad, you know, less polished and tad less upscale compared to those two. So the buttons here doesn't feel as good. You have physical buttons though, which is nice. That is a plus for some people, but it doesn't feel as good. You have more connections here with the line out right here, and USB-C as well. All of these have USB-C, which is kind of nice. At the back, you don't have anything, and here you have volume controls and also the power on and off switch. So you have more buttons here in the Xduoo actually, but you know, in the hand, when you feel it side by side with the AP80 and also the M0, this just feels less upscale compared to this two. So the winner is the AP80, Shanling, and then the Xduoo in the build. Next would be portability. So definitely, as you guys can see, the M0 wins hands down. Look at how small this is. You know, this is almost the size of your headphone jack. You know, this is really small, and it really fits in your pocket nicely. It fits anywhere you put it. This is the smallest that I've seen on a DAP. And next would be, of course, the AP80. This is not that big as well. It's still pocketable, I would say, but you know, it's a little bit bigger than the AP80, but it is still portable. The next would be, of course, the biggest one. It's still, you can still pocket it, but you will feel that it is in your pocket compared to this two that you won't feel it. It won't really bother you compared to this two. So definitely, if you like portability, maybe the M0 is for you. Next would be the screen. For DAPs, the screen is not that important, but of course you want to buy the best one, and the best one here is the AP80. The screen here is just very nice. It has nice viewing angles. It is IPS, and look at that, guys. It's just high res compared to the other two. This is the highest resolution screen. The next would be the Shanling M0. It is no slouch, but the black levels here are less compared to the AP80. It is still no slouch. It has that viewing angles as well, It is worse, of course, but yeah, it's not so bad. It is still bright under the sunlight. The last would be the Xduoo. They say that this is IPS, but it doesn't look like IPS. It looks like TFT. The view angles is not so good. It is not as bright as well. It's not high resolution also. If you are really particular with how your screen looks like, the AP80 takes the cake over here. Next would be the features. So all of these have their unique selling features, but the most features here is the AP80. This has a lot of features. Let me walk you through fast right here. Of course, this is a music player, but there are also FM right here. There's a step, and there's also a Bluetooth receiver. And of course, one thing, the unique selling point here is it has MSEB. It has a more unique kind of equalizer that you can really pinpoint what you want to modify right here. So we have the sibilance, impulse response, air, female vocals. It's really comprehensive. You cannot find this with other DAPs. So definitely this is really feature packed. So if you are, you know, really particular about having all the features under the sun, maybe this is for you. It has Bluetooth receiver as well, so that is nice. And also one thing is this has physical buttons at the right side. That is also still a feature. So if it's in your pocket, you can move and you can control this compared to the Shanling M0. The next would be the Xduoo. So the Xduoo also has a Bluetooth receiver. It has a custom EQ also, much like the AP80, and it does have, you know, the typical music player features that you have, just in a bigger package compared to the M0. So the last with the features is the M0. This is the least feature pack. This is a no frills music player. Of course, it also has Bluetooth receiver. It also has EQ. So the EQ here is just fixed. Unfortunately, there is no custom EQ right here. And of course, having the smaller kind of screen, this is harder to control when you are out and about. So the Shanling M0 has the least amount of features of the bunch. AP80 is the most features. Okay, next would be the software. So the software, the winner goes to the AP80. So right off the bat, the software here is kind of like your Android-esque kind of design with your app icons and swipe as well. So when you go inside an app, you can work about what you want to do with the app. And you can press exit as well to move to the home button right here. So yeah, it is quite intuitive. It is sort of like your smartphone kind of design. Everybody knows how to navigate that. And the animations are fast as well. It doesn't feel, you know, like it's scrolling. The processor here is really fast. Even the scrolling in the player is also fast right here. And as you can see, guys, everything just fits nicely in the software. There is no weirdness in the software. So the software feels that it is really made for this size of device. It's really thought out right here. So I really like the software right here. Next would be the Shanling M0. So the Shanling M0 has its limitations given that it is a small screen, but still they try their best to make the best out of the screen with the swipe kind of control. So it's not the most intuitive, but at least they really try to make the best out of the limitations right here. So to go back, you swipe to the left, and the tap, of course, again to move inside. It has a touch screen also, so it's not so bad in navigating. One of my minor gripes is the crown doesn't act as a navigator, so I'm kind of used to this because of my Apple Watch. But yeah, you can swipe right here to move back and next. So yeah, this is still, it feels like it is made for this device, but it doesn't have that much animation. If you can see, guys, it's just like an appear kind of animation. There is no transitions right there, but you know, it feels like it is made for this device. Okay, the last would be the Xduoo. So yeah, that's why this is the last, because this just feels that this is a software from a different DAP and just put into here. Look at this, guys. There's a lot of cut off with the text right there, and you cannot read it, you know. And also the controls feels a bit clunky. It's not a touch screen right here, and as you can see, guys, here in the buttons, you know, the rewind and the forward is up and down. That is quite confusing, and the play is right here, you know, it's really quite confusing right here. The UI here doesn't feel like it is made for this device, and also it feels, as you can see guys, from the design itself, it feels like a 90s kind of device. The icons are not so well done, and also navigation is okay. I mean, it's intuitive enough, but it doesn't feel it's like a solid experience compared to the Hidizs AP80. Okay, so the winner for the software is the AP80. Next would be the sound, the most important thing that we need to discuss. Okay, so I would say right off the bat, the best sounding is Shanling M0. So, and that is surprising because I kind of expected that it is the AP80. But it is the Shanling M0. So the M0 just has more resolution here. I like the tuning, the kind of flat kind of tuning with the Shanling M0, and yeah, the resolution level is just better. It doesn't have the best volume, but it has the best resolution. But don't fret, the AP80 is the second, but you can actually tune the AP80 to sound closer to the Shanling M0, but still the Shanling M0 still has more resolution. The AP80 is not that far off. It is very close. So, you know, if you want sound, you can choose either one. You'd be happy with that. But I would say, yeah, the AP80 is the second one, but you can tune the MSEB or the EQ and stuff like that to your liking, and it might sound better than the M0. And the last would be the Xduoo. It has the least resolution right here. It feels like there's a hole in the sound. There's something missing there in the spectrum. So yeah, the first would be the Shanling M0 in the sound, next would be the AP80, and last would be the Xduoo. The next would be the power. So actually the most power here is the Xduoo. This has the most power of the bunch. So if you are driving more higher impedance headphones and you want your volume blasted, this may be something for you. This has the most power right here. The next would be, actually they're equal, AP80 and also the Shanling M0. They're quite equal. In my IEMS, 40% volume gets me a volume that I want, and around 90% for my headphones, it gets me the volume that I want. Here in the Xduoo, around 35% I get the volume in my IEMS, and around 80% in my headphones. So yeah, Xduoo has more power compared to this one according to my testing. Next would be the battery life. So the most battery life here is the AP80. It is around 15 to 16 hours of battery life. The next would be the M0, around 14 to 15 hours of battery life. And the last would be the Xduoo, which has around 13 hours of battery life. Actually, they're still all good. You can, you know, listen to them for maybe 3 days without charging, unless you listen for it for the whole day. But usually, yeah, 3 days to 1 week, you can use this and you'll have no problems whatsoever. Okay, verdict. So I'm trying to shorten this as much as I can, but I would say the overall winner for this comparison, I think you guys already know, is the Hidizs AP80. It has the best build here. It has the best software, most modifiable software. It is small enough, it is portable enough, and it just feels like it's really a solid device overall. It sounds good. It's not the best sounding, but you can, you know, tune it to make it better compared to the Shanling M0. So if you like to, you know, dabble around and have all the features under the sun, maybe the AP80 is for you. Okay, so the next would be the Shanling M0. Actually, you know, it will depend on you. If you like portability, the Shanling M0 is my top pick. Like for me personally, I think I will go with the Shanling M0 because I already have a big DAP, I have a big amp. I want something that's super duper portable and sounds really good. And I have another DAP already. So for a complementary device, complementary DAP, this fits the bill for me. It is good sounding. It is the best sounding of the bunch. It has good battery life and super duper small, guys. It's something that you can fit in your pocket. So there are times that I cannot fit my WM1A in my pocket and also my amplifier in my pocket. And for those situations, this is something that I want to bring. It's just something that I can have in my bag all the time. So yeah, this is the second one, but this is my personal favorite of the bunch. I like this more than the AP80 for my usage. Yeah, but this is the second place in this comparison. The third place would be the Xduoo. You know, it just feels that it's an unfinished device. It has okay sound, it has okay battery life, it has okay build. It has okay software. Everything is just okay. It doesn't really approach me as something that's like a polished kind of device. Yeah, you know, it's still a good device if you use it, but it's not my first choice if you are given this kind of competition. So that is my comparison. Hidizs AP80 takes the cake here, but my personal favorite would be the Shanling M0. Let me know down below if you agree or disagree with the comparison. If you own one of these, what do you like about them? What do you not like about them? And also, hopefully you like this comparison. If you learned something, leave a like, and of course, subscribe for more content like this and the future. Again, big thanks to TechShop28 for lending me this review units, and also Sean Season for the AP80. Hopefully I can still do a full review of these and the channel, so make sure you're subscribed. And of course, I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.